Hi, I'm Vivian the Knitter.
And I'm Alyson the Crocheter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 86 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn. This is a knitting and crocheting podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughter, Alyson. I'm coming at you from Tennessee.
And I'm recording from Scotland. Hi,
Hi.
everyone. Welcome back to the usual show.
Our usual format. And
Yes.
that was only one take.
What? The last episode?
No, my intro.
Oh.
We didn't. Because our viewers and listeners don't know that usually it takes a couple takes for me to stumble through all the words.
Despite the fact that you have it written in front of you?
Yeah, but I'm trying to look at the camera.
Yeah.
And trying not to look at the words.
Yeah.
So, have you been?
I've been good. I haven't been doing much crochet because I only got home 2 days ago. And I've been down in Dorset, same as when we recorded the live event. So I've been on holiday. So, yeah.
But still working from...
Yeah, I did do some... Hello, Sushi.
Hello, Sushi. Yeah.
Sushi is tapping my mom on the shoulder for anybody listening, or scratching her, grabbing her. She wants attention.
She wants attention.
Oh my gosh. Hello. Look at me.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna sit back and relax and listen to you talk about all your projects today.
And watch Sushi pat me on the shoulder so she can get her little headbutts. Well, our Buzzfeed quiz. Let's do that first.
Sure.
And let's see, it is another one of those long titles. Pick a food in every category to find out if you're sweet, sour, salty, or spicy.
Another food quiz. You know, some people aren't crazy about food and so if any of those listen to us, they're just like, whatever. Anyways, I got spicy.
Oh, you did? I didn't get it.
Okay, it says, you're spicy, you're not afraid to say what you mean or be the center of attention, you know exactly what you want and exactly how you're going to get it. Sometimes you come off a little strong, but you can't help that you're so passionate.
That's a good one to be.
I think so. I think sometimes, at least in my old work, being one of the Americans in the office, I was it's funny because I'm quite shy and generally I've gotten over that over the years, but I would say I'm more on the shy side, a little bit more timid, and in terms of not necessarily being the most outspoken person in the room, but at work I was known as being the one who did just say what she meant, oh my gosh, Alyson, you're just so to the point, a little bit blunt. And I think that was just because I was the token American in the office, and just, comparatively, I just happened to be more blunt than the rest of them, even though I wouldn't necessarily describe myself as being that way.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you've overcome your shyness, because you were very shy as a child. I mean, I was very shy too. And it's something that I've had to work with. And people are people that I've met, as an adult, they're always like, what? You're shy? I'm like, yeah, I was painfully shy when I was a kid. So I got something very uncharacteristic. Oh. I got sour.
Uh-huh.
You're sour. Hate to admit it, but you generally have a pretty pessimistic attitude and come across as grumpy. You have a hard time seeing the good things in life and appreciating the little stuff. Some people may not really get you, but they always appreciate your honesty. That is
that's very harsh.
Opposite.
That's there's not really much redeeming in that. It's just you suck.
So basically not me. I guess it was just the food that I picked. The kind of
we do whatever. I like sour foods. Like,
Yeah.
tart, sour flavors.
Yeah, like sour, was it sour? We're just talking about this Sour
Sour
Patch
Patch
Kids
Kids.
and those sour balls that you
Yeah.
guys like, and
The mega
yeah,
sours.
and
That
those
like.
sour plums, the
Mm-hmm.
Chinese snacks, those
Mm-hmm.
sour plums. Okie dokie. Pick a donut. What donut did you pick?
Chocolate.
Yes, I did too. Unless
They're
you're
pretty
saying
like.
you're
No,
guessing. Yeah, they're very.
I picked chocolate.
You picked chocolate. Yeah, they're not very appetizing donuts though.
They weren't very
Looking.
inspired. Glazed chocolate, vanilla,
No.
Oreo, random Oreo. I like a Boston cream. That's
Well,
one
I
of my
guess the
favorites.
chocolate is closest to Boston
Yeah,
cream.
but because I like the inside. I don't like when the inside of a donut is fruit very much, unless it's apple.
Uh
And I
huh.
don't like when it's like really heavy on the powdered sugar, like that kind of icing.
Yeah.
But because the Boston cream is more custardy, I like that.
Don't jump here. You're gonna knock everything over. There's sushi again. I don't know what her problem is today. Um. Yeah. Speaking of donuts, your dad went to a local donut shop and picked all the wrong donuts.
What are wrong donuts?
He got what is the red stuff?
Raspberry?
No. It's
Red
like a
velvet?
cake. The cake. Yeah,
Red
red
velvet.
velvet cake donuts.
Sounds interesting. I would eat it. Try it.
It was
No.
not good. And
No.
then the only thing that was good from his selection of donuts was their version of a cronut. But
Mm.
they actually call it a croissant biscuit or something like that because it was like a biscuit. Well, it was flat and looked kind of like a one of those toaster strudels that you guys loved when you were kids. It was
Uh-huh.
like in the shape of that,
Yeah.
and didn't even pick any glaze. He did pick a couple of Boston cream for himself because we usually let him have the Boston cream because that's his favorite. Um, though
What about
he did pick
oh, no.
pick
Go ahead.
apple fritters, but it was okay, the apple fritters.
Hmm.
But the best one was definitely the cronut ones.
Hmm.
So Madeline said he is not allowed to pick the donuts ever again. Because he went on his own. Because, your dad wakes up at 4 in the morning and he went to the donut shop. It's just across the way. It's a local place when we were still sleeping. And he's like, surprise, I brought you donuts. So we opened it. We're like, oh, thank you.
Oh,
Okay,
he tried.
moving on.
I'm
He
gonna
did.
skip to a French dessert: croissants, macarons, crepe, or creme brulee.
I picked creme brulee.
So did I.
It's not something I can get very often, so when I have the opportunity, I try to get it.
I love
When
like creamy desserts like that, or
we had a maple creme brulee in Vermont one time. It was so good. Okay, pick a sweet breakfast food.
waffles.
I picked the French toast.
That's something I don't
those
really
are very
eat
good looking
much.
French toast. What's that?
I don't eat lots of French toast here.
Yeah. But you eat it when I make it.
Yeah. I like it. I just don't eat it a lot. What about something fried? Fish and chips, calamari, fried chicken, or shrimp tempura?
I picked shrimp tempura.
I thought so. I picked calamari.
That was my second choice.
Although
Well,
I
actually,
did have... No, go ahead.
some good fish and chips. You had mentioned that
Fish and
the other
chips.
night, and then
Oh, yeah.
I just looked at Madeline like fish and chips.
Yeah,
have some.
I did when I was down south.
Yeah, fried chicken would have been my least favorite of the four. And one more? Which one?
Cheesy food? Cheese pizza, cheesecake, mac and cheese, cheese tart. What's cheese tart? It looks like an egg tart.
It did, and that's why I picked it. But it could be one of those mini cheesecakes. I like that flaky crust.
Okay. Well, I picked cheesecake.
Okay. That looks like a no bake cheesecake.
Yes, which is basically the only kind of cheesecake I ever eat here because Sam doesn't like baked cheesecakes, But I always think about the mini baked cheesecakes you used to do with the vanilla wafers on the bottom, and I loved those. But
You should make
specifically
those
because
then.
they were, yeah, I should do, and I think you can get some sort of biscuit that is basically a vanilla wafer, as well. But I don't know if, like, I liked those mini baked cheesecakes, but I can't really remember any particular like other baked cheesecake I've had.
Like out in restaurants and stuff. I
don't
didn't
know.
really
Well, not here.
make,
Here it would be no bakes, but
I didn't really make baked cheesecakes that often.
yeah.
Just for special occasions.
Coolio.
Okie
So I'm
dokie.
spicy and you're sour.
I'm very sour. Okie dokie.
Although I
Crafty
suppose
content.
there's a potential that salty was one of the other options, so I suspect the salty option also wasn't a great one to be in the description.
You have to retake that quiz and see if I can get the salty one.
Or the sweet. You probably would fit whatever the sweet description is more.
Yeah, but I picked all the wrong stuff. Crafty content. My ears are falling out.
Your ears.
Me?
Your earbuds.
My listening devices. I am still working on my folklore cardigan for Madeline. I'm on the back. I finished the 2 sleeves, and this is all I've done. So not that much. It is keeping my interest, but at one point I was starting to get tired of it, so I did set it aside for a few days to work on something else. That's it.
It's so pretty.
I am pleased with it. It's not going quite as quickly as I hope it would go. But we have been busy. I mean, we just had the Memorial Day weekend, and for the 3-day weekend we were out every single day. So,
so
not a whole lot.
Once you do the back, is it just like front panels? Is all?
Yeah, there'll be the right side, the left side, and then you sew it together, and then I think you have to pick up for the
button band,
and of course the sleeves.
But you've done the sleeves.
Yeah, the sleeves are done, but I'm talking about sewing it together, and then the button bands, which has the stripes.
Yeah.
So hopefully I can finish it. But in the summer, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish by the end of the summer. But if I don't finish it by the end of the summer, before Madeline goes back to school, she'll just have to get it over Thanksgiving weekend, because that'll be the next time I see her. So though that is the only FO I have.
Nope.
And
whip.
you have, whip. That's the only whip
but
that I have.
I see in the comments you've got
Oh yes.
Ziga on Ravelry mentioned, and I think, did we meet her at UIF?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did meet her at UIF. So hello.
In the line.
She said that that she was confused about when I was talking about the difference between seed stitch and moss stitch. That in the UK, or at least, in the UK, I'm assuming, that
well, I don't know,
it's
because
just called.
Potentially our listeners in the UK would have said something.
Yeah, maybe. And she's not actually in the UK, right?
Maybe not. But yeah, but different countries in any case.
Yes, that she said that they're called moss stitch and double moss stitch, which kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
And if those are the, so yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I did respond to her.
So wait, does that mean
that makes more sense? The seed stitch would be called moss stitch, and our moss stitch would be a double moss stitch. And I was like, oh, that makes more sense. And I wonder if the reason why I got confused is because I've known it by both terms. I mean, it's been forever since I've done a seed stitch or whatever. So maybe, I don't know. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. But see the moss stitch, it does look. It looks good. Yeah. Here is the moss stitch.
So wait.
As opposed to the
seed stitch.
Which is all the way over there. Do you want me to get up and get it?
No, it's fine. Because I mean, obviously, I don't remember very much because it's knitting, but so that's moss stitch, aka Siga's
seed stitch,
double moss stitch. No. Yes.
Oh yeah, moss stitch, aka double moss stitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Which makes a little bit more sense.
Hmm.
I think. Don't know.
I think in crochet, the linen stitch, which is the single crochet chain, single crochet chain, and then you single crochet into the chain. So it almost has a knit look because the
V's,
the single crochets, the kind of the V's are distinct. But I think it has lots of different names, and I think moss stitch might be one of them.
Really?
Linen moss. I've heard it called the granite stitch. I think most people say linen stitch.
Anyway. I don't know. That's something that I've actually done. And yeah, so anyway, that's my only whip because I have 2 FOs.
That's exciting.
What's that?
Exciting?
They're not super exciting, but I finished the purple, the blue Chullo hat, and it's really big. I finished it.
Your purple, blue, rainbow Chullo hat.
Yeah, and I put pom poms and not pom poms. What are these called? Tassels. Tassels on the 3 tassels, 1 on the top, and then two dangly ones on the bottom. So yeah, this will keep my sister's ears nice and warm when she goes on her walk. Madeline was complaining that it was really big, but it's supposed to be a slouchy hat, so.
Oh yeah,
slouch away, yeah. Yeah, and I did make the lining a little bit shorter than the outside hat,
so it kind of forces a bit of a slouch.
Yeah, I mean, I can pull it all the way over my eyes if I wanted to, so. I didn't make the lining as small as I made the lining for your hat because you kind of complained a little bit that you wish the lining was a little bit taller. So I did a an I cord along the edges, just a little bit of a finishing detail, and I cord danglies.
And that's in the same color as the color work in the hat, the light color.
Yep, that's the light of the color work, the I cord is, and then the tassels are made out of the 3 colors of the hat. So that's the first FO, and the second FO I finished and started in like 3 days. And it's called the March hat. New. It's new. It's not an old hibernating whip, but it is called the March hat by Megan Babin, and it is a free pattern put out by Kelburn Woolens, Germantown, and I bought this yarn because Knit Picks was selling it. I know they also sell this yarn at the yarn store that I used to go to in Virginia, but anyway, I had to throw it in for some free shipping, and it's 100% American wool. I'm not sure what that means, but that's what it says somewhere. There we go. 100% North American wool. 220 yards. So it's worsted weight, and here is the hat. So this is one of the first times that I've used the yarn that a pattern calls for. So I just have to do a pom-pom. So the 100 grams of it makes the hat, and then I'll have more than enough to make the pom-pom. But if I make a really, really dense pom-pom, I probably won't have any more yarn left.
So you might as well, maybe.
Yeah, might as well make a really dense
It's got really
pom-pom.
tall rib.
It does. And I did it according to the pattern. I could wear it like this, it'll look really stupid. It kind of reminds me of the Hermione hat that Hermione wore in
what does the top look like? It looks almost like
it's called a seersucker stitch, I think. No, I might be mistaken.
It's very bubbly.
Yeah, they're not quite like they're more elongated.
Mm-hmm.
And whoops, let's see, where's my pattern? Since it's a free pattern, I can tell you all about it. Yeah, seersucker stitch. So it's just knits and purls,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a 4-stitch repeat.
Mm-hmm.
Four stitches, and then eight rows.
Mm-hmm.
So very
But the
mindless.
actual like top of the head, I was curious about that. It's very like
It's just cinched. It's not.
yeah,
It's
cinched.
not really yeah. So it's very full on the top,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all cinched together. But yeah, doesn't it look kind of like a Marnie's hat? I mean, the pattern.
I don't remember what that hat looks like.
The stitch pattern. Okay, fine. So that is my second FO, and we're done with all our crafty content.
Yeah, I have finished something, but I can't talk about it.
Secret magazine stuff.
Yeah, although I guess I haven't talked about my interweave pattern on the show, have I?
No, you haven't.
Okay, I'll talk about that, but I have nothing to show you.
You can show us a picture.
I don't have enough devices for that.
I can do that then.
But I can throw up a picture on the video, or you can find it. So I designed a tank top for Interweave Crochet, which is a U.S. publication. I think that one's quarterly, and they work on
What's it called? What did you call it?
So they called it. They renamed it something different. I think it's called the Alfresco tank top.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So I'd originally designed it in like a very thin linen yarn. It might have been a linen cotton blend. And so the fabric was a lot lighter and a little bit drapier. But they had me design it in a Lion brand yarn, which was a thicker yarn. It still had like the linen and cotton content, so it's not like, thick and all acrylic or wool or anything. So there is like a summer quality to it, but it because it is thicker than the yarn that I originally done the proposal with, the whole thing, I think it has a different feel than my original intention. And personally, I would probably wear, like, just if I were to make myself a version, I'd probably just do it in the original yarn that I wanted to do. It's I don't think what yarn it was. It was the brand was the one that I can never pronounce. Isager.
Oh, you're talking about your original yarn.
Yeah, and I'd done it in like a really light, like pale, like ballerina pink, nudie pink sort of color.
Yeah, I kind of remember that. But the Lion brand is LB Collection Merino Silk Cotton. 50% merino, 25% silk, and 25% cotton.
Yeah, so it was nice yarn, but probably wouldn't have been my top choice for that particular tank top. But yeah, it's just a really simple, like, square necked tank top with straps, and then it laces up, has holes in the back for lacing up. Although I had to like build in some support straps in the back because of the way it's shaped. Yeah, there's like the regular just sort of strap, and then there's a diagonal strap to help it stay up because it laces up in the back. So because it laces up in the back, it doesn't support itself in the middle, so you need those support straps.
I think that's very ingenious, and it gives it a whole cool look in the back.
And then it's
I like her earrings too.
It's done sideways, pretty much all in one piece. Like you do the whole thing and the straps, not the supporting straps; those are separate. But everything else is done in one piece, sideways. Yeah, so I think it was my first ever magazine proposal, and I had submitted it for the spring issue, and they got back to me and said, we'd like to consider it for the summer issue, which I guess makes sense because it's a tank top. So I had to wait a little bit to see if they were going to accept it for the summer issue, and then they said yes, and then, yeah, obviously I made it, and that was like, I don't know, I feel like that was a while ago. Like, I feel like I submitted it a year ago, or maybe even a little bit more than a year.
That sounds about right, yeah.
So I've been holding on to it for a long time, and because it was my first magazine proposal as well, I asked a couple of designers that I knew just for like some advice on like what the proposal should look like and da 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 da. So and obviously it worked out.
Cool. Look at you, a proper designer.
Oh, yeah.
That's very exciting. I have to pick up a copy. I don't know. Oh, Joanne's might has it. Might have it. Because there's no yarn store nearby. I'd have to drive over an hour to the nearest yarn store.
It went on sale at the beginning of pretty much end of May, beginning of June. So
yeah. I did see that. Congratulations, your first
Thanks.
American magazine.
Yeah.
I don't know how many American crochet magazines are there.
I think there's a few. I feel like I've done some research in the past, and some of the ones that are in my head might be defunct, but I think it's like Crochet World. That's the only thing that's coming to mind.
Are there more UK or European based crochet magazines than there are American?
I think potentially the UK crochet magazines are more popular with crafters than the US crochet magazines. Like proportionally. But I'm not really sure, and it's hard to know because I've become a crocheter mostly in the UK. But from talking to like other American crocheters, it seems like they feel like the UK crochet magazines are, I don't want to say better, but better.
You are going to say better.
Are more well loved. I don't know.
I feel like there's just more.
Yeah, maybe just more. Better in numbers. And then there'll be more it.
Yeah, which is even more.
Okay. But yeah, I've obviously been busy with that as well. So
yeah, lots of secret stuff that you can't talk about.
Secret stuff. I've got a stack of samples over here that I can't show you, but I'm so excited to. Yeah.
So wait, when do you get that sample back? The one from Interweave?
Don't know.
Whenever they send it back?
Yeah. If they send it back, we'll see.
Okay. That's very exciting. Super excited for you. So, what did you do while you're in Dorset?
Lots of things. Now I can't remember. Well, I've already told you about them, so you'll get to hear about it again. I went to the Abbotsbury Swanery, which is, I think it's the world's largest or only largest colony of mute swans, because mute swans don't normally gather in large numbers. But the area where it is just like a good nesting site, and obviously the swans have learned that they get well fed if they nest there at the swanery. So they're not like domesticated swans. The swans are wild and choose to nest there. And
protection. They probably get a lot of protection there too.
Yeah. And there's also like geese and other birds there as well, because they obviously have learned that they can get fed there too. And there's been a swanery there since like the late 1300s, back when the monks used to keep them to eat. They don't get eaten anymore. But yeah, it was really cool. You walk around and there's just swans everywhere. And then there was all the little baby swans, little cygnets that were little white, gray, fluffy bundles. And yeah, most of them, they would have been pretty young, I guess, because they were only like, yeah, as big as a very large potato. I don't know, a really small pumpkin. Those descriptions aren't very helpful.
A bagel.
I mean, not flat like a bagel. But some of the nests still just had eggs.
Cool.
So obviously there would be more babies too. And then we went to West Bay, which is where they filmed Broadchurch. So it's got like the big golden cliffs, which is part of the Jurassic Coast. I was trying to see if Sam would confirm for me, but I think so. Yes, he's just thumbs up. Part of the Jurassic coastline. That's where we had the really good fish and chips. Went to...
You're giving me cravings.
It was like just about manageable to eat outside with like a light jacket on with the sun, and it was a bit of a breeze. Went to Knight's Hayes House, which is a Gothic Revival manor house. It's like a National Trust property in Devon.
How far away was that from
where we were staying? I don't know, couple hours, a little less. But yeah, very grand house. We got to like go inside and see it, and I mean, it was only built in like I think the late 1800s. Kind of a reddish color, but because it's Gothic Revival, it's very like ornate on the outside even and on the inside. And I think the family that originally built it, they owned like textile mills in the village, which apparently they were able to like they could see the village from their front door and the mills. And nowadays the village, I don't know if it's the same mill or the same site, but there's they do like specialty fabric. So the woman, the tour guide woman was saying they do like, like parachute fabrics and military fabrics. And she said that they also did the parachute for the Mars landing.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So yeah, we did lots of fun things, and then got some sunshine as well.
And lots of good food, it sounds like.
Yes, lots of good food. A lot of good food from courtesy of Sam's mom, actually.
I was gonna say, how was your Christmas feast?
Very feasty. We had giant turkey and pigs in blanket, which I actually didn't eat any because they're the bacon wrapped sausages. And she even made me a pumpkin pie. I think it took her like weeks of trying different stores to find tin pumpkin where they were.
Really?
Yeah. So she made me pumpkin pie, which I very much appreciated. And then, I mean, she's just a very excellent cook. So we ate very well, and we also tested out her homemade pizza oven that she's got in the backyard. It's like this giant brick thing, like it looks like triangle shaped. And so we had really good pizzas on our last night too.
Sounds good. Yummy.
Yeah.
Well, she does have a degree in food.
Well, yeah. I think she was a good cook prior to that. That was like food technology.
Well, we went to Ruby Falls, and it's like one of the top 3 things to do in Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we've seen everything on that list.
You might as well.
Yeah. So it's a it's in the Lookout Mountain, which we visited while Emily was here. We did the outside stuff. And Ruby Falls is actually inside the caverns. And some guy, I don't remember his name, in the 1920s decided to because what was it? They were making tunnels for railways, and then they closed it or something, but he decided to go down and explore.
So did they know did they know there was falls in there, or did he just know there were caverns and wanted to explore the caverns?
No, he knew there were caverns in there. And then Leo Lambert, and his wife's name was Ruby, and that's why it's called Ruby Falls. So he crawled around in there, and it took him 6 hours to go, I don't know, like 60 feet or something. I don't know what the numbers were, but just like, because he couldn't even stand up, and he just crawled, and then for 6 hours before he was able to stand up. And even that area where they showed us where he stood up was not very big. And then it's like it took a while for us to get to the falls. So like, I don't know what possesses people to do something like that. It's like, you're gonna get stuck. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get stuck. But he did it, and he found the falls was inside. So when we first approach it, and they have a light show going on, it's dark. Like the falls they don't have any lights on. You just hear the water. Like you hear the water. There's light behind us, just a little bit, to light our way. but you couldn't see where the water was, and you can
Uh-huh.
kind of tell that you've entered this area where all of a sudden it's taller because while we're walking through, it's not very tall, and yeah, so and then blue, they turn on the lights and and it was actually quite beautiful, the lights shining on it and everything, and so that was very cool.
How
Uh,
tall are we talking?
I am looking it up right now. It was pretty tall, but I don't know exactly how tall it is. Let's see. According to Wikipedia, 145 feet inside of Lookout Mountain,
145 feet.
or 44 meters. That's quite tall.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. Unfortunately, we went on Memorial Day where everybody else decided to go too. So it took us over an hour.
Did you have to wear masks?
Yeah, we had to wear masks. So by the time we were done, because it was very humid down there, all our masks were just like damp and wet and gross. But so they only, I don't know, like everybody had time tickets. But then, like, while we're walking through the caverns to get to the falls, at least 6 times, it was like, okay, everybody has to like go lean up against the wall, and then another tour group was coming back. So
Yeah.
it just took it says like it usually takes you about an hour to and from, but it took us about an hour and a half. So but it was worth it. It was really cool.
Speaking of masks, I've got my vaccine
Yay!
yesterday. I didn't cry. I did. I went with Sam, and we were sat in our chairs.
Is it because Sam was holding your hand?
Well, no. Well, I rolled up my sleeve, and then I just like leaned on Sam's shoulder, and I had put my glasses on top of my head and just covered my hands, my eyes with my hands, and so there was 2 like nurses there, and the one that wasn't administering the vaccine, I just hear her go, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I just don't like shots." And then she asked me, "Do you faint?" I was like, "No, I don't faint. Like, I'll be fine. I just can't think about it."
You're just a big chicken when it comes to shots.
Yes. I think that's the best I've ever reacted to one in a long time.
So when Alyson was in college, and your first year, you refused to get the flu shot, and you got really sick. You had the flu, and you had to be quarantined. Do you remember that?
That might have been my second year.
Was it your second year?
Yeah, I think it might.
I'm pretty sure it was your first year. You didn't have a car, so the second year.
It was the year of swine flu. That's why we had to be quarantined, because they were like, "We don't know if you've got swine flu or just the regular flu." So you just you had to pack a bag, and then you got sent to the quarantine apartments, and then you lived in an apartment with 3 other sick people, and then campus security delivered you food.
So the following year, you got your shot, and you're like, you were so proud, like, I didn't cry, Mommy.
Oh, well, I mean, that went out the window, because I got a flu shot at work when I was working in Boston, and I cried. I'm sure I've told you this. I went with my friend Lynn, and like, it was free flu shots. You had to go into the meeting room, so we were waiting outside the meeting room for the people in front of us to finish. And I just started crying. And, like, she knew that I didn't like shots. And so she was, like, trying to distract me, like, talking about Harry Potter. Because I think it was maybe before Fantastic Beasts. And just, like, we get into the room, and I was still sobbing. And obviously, the woman is, like, treating me like I'm, like, 5 years old. I'm like, I know, I'm still in. It's fine. And then as soon as, like, think it's done, and then it's like, okay, I'm done. Wipe my face. And, like, it's just, it's all the anticipation and the build-up. And the idea of this foreign invader just like into my body.
Well, your youngest sister, Madeline, never cried. From the time she was a newborn, she never cried for shots. And we thought it was like, when they get their 2-week-old shot and she didn't cry, like, oh, that was weird. And then you go in for 2 months and she didn't cry. It's like, oh, I guess it's a thing that Madeline doesn't cry for shots. fast forward to when H1N1 was a thing, and usually because I made you guys get shots like separately, but I made an appointment for all four of you guys to get shots, and so I thought it would be a good idea to make the chicken, which was the oldest, get her shot first, and you were so annoying. You were just sobbing and carrying on, and all of a sudden the 8-year-old who never cried for shots started crying and getting nervous too, like, oh no, please don't start with me. And she was like all upset. She got her shot. I went in there with her, and they gave her the shot. I was like, she didn't even feel it. She was like, oh, it's over. I'm like, yes, you're being ridiculous for nothing. Now she gets into the habit of getting nervous before shots. It's all because of you. It's your fault. It's your fault. So yeah, I mean, she's not anywhere near as bad as you. I mean, she doesn't cry or anything. She just gets a little nervous.
And I know it's I think it's just it's obviously in my head, and I think it's just it is psychological, and it's the concept of it rather than like the pain of it. Like both me and Madeline have multiple tattoos. That's fine. I can go to an appointment by myself, and it's fine. I could and I know it's gonna hurt, not a lot, but it's bearable. And I know the same thing about shots, that like sometimes even when you do feel it and maybe it hurts for a second, like it's for a lot shorter of a time than a tattoo. But it's just this it's just this idea of it just going further into my body. I was saying even afterwards in the car on the way home that like I had to tell myself to move my arm because I was almost afraid to do it because I just in my head it's almost like I saw it as the needle has left a hole in my body. Like, which is ridiculous. Like, I know it hasn't, but like, just visually, that was just the sort of, I don't know, the picture in my head.
That was why a lot of experts were saying that you should get it in your dominant arm, so that way you would make sure that you move it, instead of babying it, because that's kind of like a second nature to just baby it. And I was like, just do the chicken. Just keep doing it.
But it's fine, just a little sore.
Okay, I'm glad you didn't have any symptoms, because a lot of young people are getting symptoms, mostly for their second shot. So we'll see how you are when you get your second.
Righty. I think we've babblecasted enough. Probably. Yeah. You've got some shop talk for us?
Oh, that's right. I have shop talk. It's been a while. So for some of our new listeners, if you don't know, our podcast is sponsored by our Etsy shop called Pearl and Plum.
It's my mom's Etsy shop. I have very little to do with it.
You help me with the stuff that I don't want to deal with. Not the sewing, but the technical part and, all that kind of stuff. So, and I made a few new bags. These guys, I got some new fabric. I actually made them a while ago, but I just finally took pictures over the weekend. So these two are new fabrics, and they're both cat themed. They have
okay, cats. So from a distance, one of the bags obviously has different types of chairs on it, but I didn't see the cats on the chairs, and I was like, that seems a bit weird, just a chair fabric. I mean, weird, but also I was like, it's kind of cute. But now the cats make more sense.
Yeah, they make more sense. So they both have the small versions, which I didn't pull out, the sock version. These are my Alyson bags, and the sock size are called Emily bags. So there's that, and I did make a couple of some old favorites. Here's one, and I already sold the other one, so I can't show it to you. So those are smaller project bags, and I made these a while ago, and Allison's already seen these, but I finally took pictures. And these are my Lillian bags, which are a little bit fancier. They have real leather straps and nice, oops, I just smacked myself in the face, yarn keeper pockets. There are elastic pockets in there that keeps especially if you're doing your color work. I use mine for holding all the different colors so they don't get tangled. And this one has llamas. Are they llamas or alpacas? I think they're llamas because that's what I called my bag. I said, I named this one Llama Carry Your Yarn. So So they are llamas. There's really cute llamas wearing pom-poms and sweaters or blankets on their backs. And this one has little doggies with sweaters.
Wearing sweaters. Very good.
So they're all in the shop now. I've already listed them.
Cool.
And those are the newest bags I have. So check out pearlandplum.etsy.com for.
I was just thinking about the bag sizes because you've got the Emily bag, the Alyson bag, and the Madeline bag, and that's like kind of the sizes that they go in, and that's the sizes that we go in. Like, it's not youngest to oldest, but I mean, it's Emily's only
smallest to biggest.
Yeah, she's only fractionally shorter than me by like less than an inch.
But she's smaller this way. Emily is smaller, tinier this way, I think.
Yes, she's thinner than me, but also fitter than me by a mile. And then Madeline towers over us all. I have many a hand me up. Yes, from Madeline.
Hand me ups from Madeline. Yeah. Well, I mean, she grew up with all of your hand me downs.
Yes, and how the tables have turned.
Now she's giving hand me ups to her aunts or her aunt, my sister, who is my size or my height, but smaller than me, so a lot smaller than me, and so my sister is wearing stuff that Madeline used to wear when Madeline was in middle school, like that coat I told you about, the purple and gray one that's gonna match the purple hat that I made for her.
Cool. Well, while I spiel
away.
Okie dokie. You can find the show notes for this episode and every episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can follow us on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is kcacypodcast as well. And make sure to subscribe and like and comment and review and whatever on iTunes, YouTube, or wherever else you stream podcasts. You can also join our Ravelry group if you want to. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast in the groups tab. Thank you for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn. Bye.
Bye.